I was riding for Supreme for a couple of years, like, also during the time that I worked at Chelsea Piers. I was in school at Hunter, so um, I'd be in school part-time, working part-time at the piers, trying to get other winter jobs when the park was closed. And I was doing that for a good 2 years and hanging out regularly at the Supreme store. And those guys just kind of became, it's like anything else. They become your family members. So, there's one day I was out interviewing for some jobs during the winter, and I sat in the back of the shop and chilled after like two of them one day, and I just spoke with Giovanni Estevez, and he and I were cool back in the days, and he just mentioned to James that I was looking for a job and that he knows me well. He felt like he could trust me, so it kind of just started there.
Yeah, and back in the day, I've only seen footage, of people lighting off fireworks in front of the shop, mad kids just chilling out there skating. It's just kind of like pandemonium sometimes, and so different from what the Lafayette shop was before they moved. How was what was like some of the stuff you'd see chilling out there?
Um, I mean, before I worked there, it was full on just like the dudes you would see in like the kids movie basically, and all those New York guys, and like just everyone from everywhere meeting up there to skate flat out front and then figure out what they're doing for the rest of the day. Or the staff just taking turns and like skating out front. Alex Corcoran would be out there with a margarita. Um, it was just downtown, early downtown, like, I don't know, before Soho really was a shopping mall that it is now. There was a bunch of like art studios. There was a lot of antique stores on that block. It was kind of just like a nameless block, Lafayette, at the time. Um, Fast forward to when I worked there, the hype the hype was there. The hype had already started. So first day I worked there, there was lines. You know what I mean? So I just got blasted into that world of the hype beast and the lines and the greed from some of that, but it's all good. Yeah, I don't know. One of the craziest things I think a couple of years into it was, um, I guess there was a sneaker release. I want to say it was like the Supreme foam posits that looked like that had like a weird like Gucci flag kind of graphic on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. They
it was
came out
either
with the
those.
shorts and stuff too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was those or another Nike shoe where there was kids walking up the street, and I think one of them got hit by a car on Lafayette, and I think they had the shoe stolen when they got hit by a car, whether it was on purpose or not. Like, I'm not really too sure, but that happened. There'd be things like kids smoking, dust on the line, waiting overnight online, and then you open the store and there were like zombies in the store. Um, there was, one or two fights. They were actually pretty tame considering we didn't have security guards like all the Supreme stores do now every day. I had to get, Matt Perez and his little buddies help with the trash. We had to get, hired, people that we knew from nightclubs and stuff like that to do the door eventually. Like it bubbled up into what it is now, definitely during that era. Um, yeah, just, random street stuff you would see in front of there.
Would you consider those like your golden days? Do you ever look back and wish you were still a part of those times? Because even like A Life, we talked to this dude Jess that used to run that place, and he said,
Rob Jest.
yeah, he
Yeah,
talked
that's
about the
just like,
culture and all the graffiti writers that would come about, all the skaters. It was just so popping. But nowadays, like not only places like that, just in general, there's less life in the city. You ever reminisce on those times and wish like you could go back to that?
I don't know if I wish going back to it, um, in the way things were exactly then. Is I don't know. I guess I just have an older point of view to always kind of go forward and not go back. But that was definitely a golden era, man. That was some of the best times of my life. I mean, a lot of the characters that were there aren't with us anymore, so I got to see them, and that was pretty dope and special, and like chilling with Harold and stuff like that, like that was sick. He's hilarious. um So there's a lot of that portion to it that's, that's definitely missing now. Um, but it was a time where I was super. I'm gonna admit I was young and reckless. Like we kind of had it. We had it made. I started partying a lot. I was paying $500 rent. I didn't. Nothing really mattered. You know what I mean? I was right there. I lived near Max Fish. I could walk home from Max Fish. So winters, everyone was there a lot. You go other places and everyone knows you. You get hooked up with food that gets pretty spoiling. You keep milking that. It's from one place to another. um but that stuff gets old, dude. you
Mhm.
know um there's definitely more to life than partying, for sure.
Yeah. When you were working at Supreme, did they have the security guards already? Did anyone try to rob the shop or anything like that?
No, there was no security guards, and there's only one instance where someone ran in and like open armed grabbed a whole rack of beer from the front and just ran out. Like they grabbed the displays of whatever was hanging there. And Ryan Hickey got the baseball bat from behind the counter and chased this dude for as long as he could. It was 4 o'clock in like December, so it was already pitch black out, and he chased him for as far as he could. Eventually, the guy just outran Hickey.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that was the only time there was really a robbery.
And during that time period, the Lafayette Street wasn't anything like it was now. It wasn't. Now you got like Carhartt, you got like all these shops on that block.
Nah, there was just an evolution of stores right next door to it before it eventually became the coffee place, Cologne.
Mhm.
Um, and like a bunch of random. There's a shoe store across the street.
Why do you think that like this brand popped off? Like even when you first started working there, it just popped off crazy like that.
The way I saw it when I was younger and before I worked there is that it had a huge appeal to Japanese culture. So I saw that as something that no one else had, and the way they kind of in a way idolize Western culture, especially when it comes to underground lifestyle stuff like skating and everything that comes with that. Um, so I saw that success there, and they already had 5 or 6 stores in Japan at that time. So I kind of saw it as not really like a streetwear thing, but more for a Japanese consumer that's more into like smart looking clothing and more military influenced clothing. Like that's really what I saw it as. And then the skaters wore it in a way that made it look kind of cool and streetwear because they would oversize everything.
Mhm.
Um, but the logo and I think the smart non-marketing of never having an ad and it being something kind of spoken about only, and if you know kind of thing. That's what it was back in the day. So you know they basically James started the limited, only put out certain quantities of stuff, and it all worked. And it was smart designs. Like I don't want to discredit the product and the vision. Like it was really smart stuff at the time. It was sick. I mean, there was books, there was art collaborations, all the cool accessories that's been going on forever. Um, I mean, the first boards that I saw that were made for the shop were, I guess they were made by girl, so China wood. So that showed me that those guys were cool with the girl dudes. And then the next day I go to the store and I see like Keenan there, like saying what's up with everyone and chilling. And it was kind of like, oh man, this is crazy. But it just had its own like, clothing stores were like the Gap and Old Navy and stuff like that to me. And, random stores on Broadway where you go to Supreme and it was definitely a lifestyle. So I think that was the change.
Mhm.
Um, I guess for people to be like super into it.
What was the point when you start? How long did you work for them, and what made you stop?
Um, I worked there for 9 years, and honestly, um, I didn't leave on any bad blood, and I love all those guys, and it was an amazing opportunity. Um, and I've got nothing bad to say, and only got amazing things to say about the experience there. Um, but I just really internally, all my friends that were my peers from school and people that didn't skate that I hung out with, they all had these other careers and stuff that they worked towards. Whereas I kind of stayed at the same place for a long time. And I felt like I wasn't building any other skills. And I know, you can go to class at night and all this stuff, but I kind of wanted to take a break and figure out what I wanted to do next because I didn't really have the headspace when you're dealing with customers all day and especially at the volume of which that place gets and what it got by the time I left. I mean, it was psycho, man. It was every day there was a line and it still is like that, but you don't really have the headspace. And I guess I just didn't take time off, like I didn't take enough time off in hindsight. I should have taken like 4 weeks if I could have, but I just felt like I wasn't building any other skills. And I saw my peers having all these other work skills or, hey, now this guy's working for a bank and getting X amount of cash a year. And I was like, whoa, man, like it was kind of like a realization of I can keep doing this. This is great. I have it made. This is amazing. This is safe and secure. Or I can risk it, figure out what I want to do and kind of pursue something else with a new skill plus the knowledge I have already from running a business. So that kind of propelled me to leave.